The news headline: If I were to advise Tinubu after swearing in, the first person to be suspended is Emefiele. Ononuga says. You're welcome to today's news, and thank you for tuning in to this channel. But please do well to subscribe to this channel by clicking on the subscribe button and also the bell for more updates. And you can as well like and share this news. Now to the news details. Please listen carefully to the end. According to a news that was published this morning, it was reported that Mr. Bayo Ononuga, who happens to be a member of the Media Subcommittee of the Presidential Transition Council, who also served as the Director of Media and Publicity of the defunct All Progressives Congress APC Presidential Campaign Council, that worked for the emergence of Chief Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima as President-elect and Vice President-elects, during an interview with Daily Trust correspondents, has said that it was to advise Tinubu on the cashless policy of the CBN. The first to be suspended would be Godwin Emefiele, who happens to be the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. During the interview, Bayo Ononuga was told that the cashless policy of the CBN was introduced ahead of the general elections, and people like him voiced out their anger, saying that the policy affected the masses. He said, asked if it was true that the policy was also targeted at Tinubu's ambition to become president. And while responding, Bayo said that people would expect that in the run-off to any election, the ruling government or party should not do anything that would affect its chances to win the election. He said, so when the cashless policy was announced and it was implemented, it triggered a lot of resentment. And there were already resentments against Asiwaju Tinubu's presidential ambition. But the policy heightened it. The public was really mad about the government. And to add fuel to the whole thing, we had fuel scarcity. When he was asked that if he were to advise Tinubu, what would he tell the incoming president to do on the matter? While responding, he said Godwin Emefiele would be suspended first. He said, if I were to advise Tinubu after swearing in, the first person to be suspended is Emefiele. Mr. President should ask that man to go because he is the number one enemy of the people of Nigeria. Recall that before the presidential election, the general election in Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele and the federal government came out with cashless policy. What they first did was to bring a new Naira note, which was not in circulation, and people were suffering to even gain access to their money in banks, cannot buy food, and this was becoming so hectic in the country. And he knows that election is coming, whereby people need money to stock food inside their homes and also go about their daily businesses. It was so hell-bent that even a child knows that there is Naira scarcity. Not until the time that after the election, they had to come back and say the new Naira note and the old Naira note can be spent. This was so tough in the country, and me looking at it, it was just to make sure that Tinubu's election, the presidential election that will make Tinubu win, will go so bad, so that they can say that it is because of Tinubu. That is why there is new naira. There is scarcity of naira notes, because they know that Tinubu is the Babai Saleh of all these politicians, of President Muhammadu Buhari, of Emefiele. And Tinubu, who actually also came out and talked about the naira scarcity, that it is not supposed to be done by this time. It is a wrong timing, even if you want to bring a new note to the country. At least 1 year, the money, old notes can still be in circulation till it goes off. And during that time again, remember that there was fuel scarcity. This was eating Nigerians very toughly. But yet, they still blamed it on Tinubu, and that is what they wanted. So Ononuga said if he was to advise Tinubu on what to do, the first person who is the greatest enemy of Tinubu is Emefiele, because he worked as an enemy for Tinubu, and that kind of person cannot work with the administration of Tinubu, because Nigerians themselves are not happy with Godwin Emefiele. They want him to be removed from the seats. We have come to the end of the news. What's your take to this? Please share your comments in the comment section. Thank you.